So now I'm checking the intonation. Um, I did some fine adjustments and it's playing really good, man. I kind of lowered this a little bit over here, got that down, did a little truss rod adjustment to pull that neck out a little bit, filed the nuts down a little bit to get them right on, and now, man, it's playing really nice. So I think the lesson is you just got to keep working at it, tiny little bit here, little bit here, just keep working at it. So intonation is as it stays in tune coming up. So, you know, what you need is you want, the obvious is you have these 2 points where your string's attached, and dead center in the middle. So if this is ringing at a frequency of 100, when you push here, it's got to be 50. If this is too big, then you push here, it's going to be like 52. So then you have to move that up so that when you push your center fret, it's exactly half of the frequency. Interestingly, the physics and sound waves, the frequencies, the tree goes, you know, obviously 1 to 1 is your closest relationship, your most powerful relationship or whatever, 1 to 1, then 2 to 1, those are octaves, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, sit on down. And that's how they kind of come up with the scale. It doesn't directly equate to linear math, but that's why you got kind of different scales around the world. But the basics, the first 5 or 6 intervals are all the same, no matter where, because they're products of physics. So you have your 1 to 1 ratios, 100 to 100, those are unisons. You got 100 to 50, that's octaves. You got 3 to 1s, those are fifths. 4 to 1 ratios are back to octaves again. 5 to 1 ratios is a major third. So God's chord is a major third. That's like, it's not a major third, is God's chord of the universe. It's a picture of wave frequency, and it's a property of physics. It's undeniable. So it's not like, different cultures have different chords of this. They start to break out after that, where you can inversions, and then you go which parts of the scale that you're going to accentuate depending on what kind of instruments you make. Different woods or steels or shit like that will accentuate different parts of the frequency, but God's chord is a major chord. I mean, period, point blank. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, so here's what I think this should work. I've got power, and I got this turned on. I got that turned on. I just want to see how this works here, because it was intonated before, but when I shifted these over, it should be pretty close. And the problem is that the way I've got this locked down now, I really can't adjust it. I mean, I could. If it's really bad, I can take it out and slide these things in and out a little bit. But right now, it's kind of set and strong. So I'm hoping that it's pretty dang good. And when you got your whammy bar, you're wearing it all the time. So it's not as critical as say a fixed guitar for recording. This for live purposes. It's as long as I'm pretty dang close. When you're playing, man, your hands down here anyway. You're like kind of do this and this. So anyway. Let's see what we got. We're gonna do this first one. Jeez, it's already ringing. It's already saying C sharp, and that's why I detuned to C sharp. That's why I got the big old fat wires on there, which is another thing. I'm trying to figure out what the exact string placement is. I used to have, when I did this with a 6 string, I would go, I'd take a set of beefy slinkies, and they would go like, I think it was 11, 15, 22 plain, which you can't take a 22 plain down to detune down 3 half steps of a minor third. It just gets too wobbly. So I had to switch to a 22 wound on the 3rd string. So I'd get a set of beefy slinkies, and I'd switch out the 3rd. I'd go, I think it was like 11, 15, 22. I go to 22 wound, and then it went like a 30, 48 or something like 54. I think it ended at a 54. But I would take these two strings right here and tune them to the exact same pitch. So it would be like a 30 and a 42 or something, tuned to the exact same pitch. And at first I was like, well, since they're the same pitch, let me just get the same string. So I just went and got 2 42s. But it was weird, because even though they were tuned to the same note, as you played them and you went up the neck, your mind wanted the thickness to go up as you went up. So it just didn't work. It didn't feel right. It was kind of weird. So I ended up, sticking with that beefy slinky, and it was okay. So anyway, so now I'm trying to, figure out what this is a beefy slinky. So that's like a 54. That's a pretty good one. But I might be able to come down a little bit, because now that I only got 5, I don't want to make such a big jump from the 11 the 15, the 22 wound, and then jump all the way to 42. So I might want to bring that down a little. I'm kind of experimenting with that. But anyway, let's see. So we're just going to pluck this thing open. It's still ringing. I think it's right on C sharp. That'd be pretty good. And sometimes on your lower strings, I don't know why it's not working. Where was I C sharp before? Oh, dang it. You know what else I did? I locked them in to test that too. So if I'm a little, how come this ain't reading? There. Okay, there. And then you just take this and try to get that up a little bit. Which way am I turning? Because I'm backward. Bam. C sharp. Right there. Alright. The bigger strings, man, you pluck them hard and they go, look at that, that's right on it. So now I add an extra hand. Now we're gonna touch a half note. I wonder if I could just do it like a tap on. Okay. Sharp. That's quite a bit sharp too, that's kind of a bummer. You hear that national anthem in the background? The Malaysian national anthem. You know what cracks me up is like every country's national anthem sounds like they hired some, you know, British or American, you know, traditional, classical, whatever guy to write their national anthem. It's like all of a sudden, oh, national anthems? We need one. Yeah, I don't know why all these other countries don't write national anthems like in their traditional music of that country. It trips me out. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, see, that's a tiny bit sharp, which means here I need to go back. That's kind of a bummer. It's a little more than I thought. It's kind of a bummer. Anyway, so let's try the next one just to see. Let's try this middle one. So that middle one will be another C sharp. Let me just calibrate this thing there. Oh, that's right, the fuck on. That's one thing great about these Ibanez Prestige, man. I'm telling you. Man, before you just tune it up, lock it down, and that fucker would stay. That sucker would stay right the fuck on, man. In your case, out of your case, on the floor, there's this, in a backpack. Don't play for 2 weeks, pick it up, boom, it's right fucking on. That's a trust, man. It's a little sharp. Not so much, a little bit sharp. Let me see this G sharp here. Let me see if I can tune this up just a tiny bit. See, they all work. Even though I slid everything over, everything still works just like as it would. So then G sharp, let's see. That should be pretty good. This G sharp, pretty good. So let's see here. Everything's just a little bit sharp. Dang it, that's a bummer. Because I don't want to fuck with those, but I might. That's my high string. It's still right on. That's nice though. It's not bad. It's getting better as you come down. Everything's still a little sharp. The reason I don't want to fuck with it is because I have it. I've got it tight. You know, I kind of slotted these things after I hacked them off, and then these things are all nice and tight. And I slotted in there, so everything's nice and tight, good. If I want to, plus I stripped this one, shit, trying to crank it down, so that's gonna suck. But if it looks like what I need to do is just slide each one of these things back a little bit, and they'll go back. I mean, they're on a little slot there, right there. It's just nice to have them, you know, pushed in at one direction at least for cranking down instead of just loose all the way. My other option I was thinking is I might put a little bit of like metal epoxy, especially if I end up moving this back. But it looks like everything's got to go back just a tad, you know, just a tad, and I think we'll be okay because it's reading sharp, right? I got that backwards on one of my guitars. You push this down, it's reading sharp, means it has to go get bigger. Anyway, that's it. Later.